Let me ask you something personal. What time did you wake up today? Was it before the world stirred, before the sun claimed the sky, or did you rise after the world had already begun to make decisions without you? Now pause, and imagine the quiet moment before dawn, that rare, untouched hour when the mind is clearest, the soul is most aligned, and the world hasn't yet laid its distractions at your feet. That hour is where everything begins. That hour built my fortune. If you desire to construct a legacy that transcends your name, if you want to make decisions that shape industries and touch generations, then you must master your mornings, not by chance, not by motivation, but by discipline. Waking up early is not about productivity, it's about power. It's about positioning yourself above the noise while others still sleep beneath their doubts. When the world is silent, your thoughts echo louder. When the phone doesn't ring, your soul whispers what it truly wants. That's why I didn't just wake up early, I trained myself to command the morning. You see, true wealth doesn't begin with money. It begins with mastery, and mastery begins with control. If you cannot command yourself out of bed when your alarm strikes, how can you command men? If you cannot resist the warmth of your pillow, how can you resist the temptations that destroy empires? I used to rise before the sun, not because I liked it, but because I had to train the most important asset in my life, my mind. In the early hours, I planned the operations of Standard Oil. I reviewed figures, reread letters, envisioned expansions, and trained my spirit to love discipline more than sleep. Discipline is not natural, it's carved, like stone. You must chisel it each morning. The world worships comfort. It celebrates ease, but empires are not built in comfort. They're built in clarity, in silence, in intention. Each morning you choose. Do you rise with purpose, or do you snooze your future? 10 minutes at a time. When I was young, I had no privilege. My father was a snake oil peddler, and I learned early that nothing would be handed to me. So I claimed the only space I could call my own, the morning, and in that space, I created a rhythm of execution, so relentless that eventually the world could not ignore me. And yet, you may say, Rockefeller, what can I do in the morning that changes my destiny? I'll tell you. You build a fortress around your spirit. You start with silence. Then you think. Not scroll, not consume. You think. And thinking is the rarest form of labor in today's distracted world. Then, you write your intentions. You plan your attack, not react to the chaos. You exercise. You condition your body to obey your mind. You study. You digest wisdom, not entertainment. And lastly, you pray. Not religiously, necessarily, but reverently. You align your actions to something greater. You ask for direction, not distraction. That's a morning worth building. Most men never do this because most men do not believe they can be great. But you who are listening, if you have breath, if you have ambition, if you have a sliver of hunger left in your soul, then understand this: your life changes the moment you own your morning. I watched the greatest fortunes of my time crumble in the hands of men who had no control over themselves. They waited for motivation. They followed comfort. And when the winds of life blew strong, they were swept away like dust. But I planted my roots deep in routine, deep in resolve, deep in the stillness of the morning. And when storms came, I didn't flinch, because my day had already been won before breakfast. People used to ask me, "What was your secret?" And I would tell them, I had no secret. I had structure. I had reverence for time. I had sacred mornings, but my son once complained that he was tired. I told him, tiredness is a sensation, not a sentence. Your body serves your will, not the other way around, and if you cannot win the battle with your blanket, don't dream of victory in the boardroom. Now let me tell you the real truth. The morning doesn't just give you time, it gives you identity. When you rise while others sleep, you begin to see yourself differently, not as a slave to circumstance, but as a sculptor of outcomes. Your confidence doesn't come from praise, It comes from the quiet knowledge that while others wasted their first hour, you used it to take ground. I want to challenge you, whoever you are, wherever you are, to do something simple and revolutionary. Wake up tomorrow at 5 a.m. No excuses, no negotiations. When your alarm rings, get up. Not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. Walk in silence. Read something timeless. Move your body. Write down your objectives, and ask yourself one question. If I win the morning, how far could I go? Then do it again and again, until your early rise is no longer an act of discipline, but a declaration of who you are. Because this is the truth. Every morning you sleep in, someone else takes your place. Every hour you waste in comfort, your competitor sharpens his blade. While you choose snooze, someone else chooses significance. You may not see the consequence today, but over time, it compounds just like wealth. I built my fortune cent by cent, but I built my strength minute by minute. And the minutes that mattered most, they happened before the world woke up. So, if you're tired of mediocrity, if you're done watching others live the life you want, then reclaim your morning. And with it, reclaim your destiny. Now tell me, and be honest, what time will you wake up tomorrow? There is a profound transformation that takes place when you consistently claim your morning. It goes beyond the simple act of waking early. It rewires your very identity. You begin to see yourself as a person of action, a person who takes control of time rather than being controlled by it. This is not a small shift, it is a seismic one that will ripple through every part of your life. When I began rising before the dawn, I was not simply trying to get ahead of the competition. I was cultivating patience, discipline, and an unwavering mindset that no crisis, no competitor, no setback could shake. The quiet of the early morning is not merely silence. It is the forge where resilience is tempered. You must understand that the foundation of all lasting success is emotional control, the power to decide when to act, when to pause, and when to push through exhaustion. It's easy to feel motivated in moments of excitement, but discipline is your steady companion when motivation fades. Discipline is what gets you out of bed when every fiber of your being begs you to stay under the covers. This is where your future is born, one early morning at a time. I remember vividly the countless mornings spent at my desk, poring over ledgers, calculating risks, and planning the next moves for Standard Oil. These were not glamorous hours, nor were they filled with immediate gratification. They were hours of steady, deliberate progress. But the results were undeniable, a business empire that reshaped the world's economy. This empire was not built on luck or chance, but on relentless daily discipline. The modern world tempts you to believe that greatness can be summoned on demand. Like flipping a switch, it cannot. Greatness is forged in the small, unseen moments of consistency. It is in the early morning hours, when your mind is fresh, your will is strong, and distractions are absent. Consider the powerful metaphor of a ship setting sail. If you wait for the perfect weather, you will never leave the harbor. The early morning is your calm sea. Use it to set your course and raise your sails before the storms of the day arrive. Your morning routine must be purposeful. It must include time for reflection, for planning, for strengthening your mind and body. When I speak of reflection, I mean the quiet moments where you evaluate your actions, your goals, and your values. It is in these moments that clarity emerges. Without clarity, your actions become scattered and your efforts diluted. Planning is your roadmap. Without a plan, you are like a traveler wandering without direction. Your plan should be detailed yet flexible. Review your priorities, set your intentions for the day, and prepare to face challenges with a calm and focused mind. Physical exercise is not merely about health, it is about preparing your body to serve your ambitions. A strong body supports a strong mind. The discipline to move and push your physical limits in the morning reinforces your capacity to endure the rigors of business and life. Finally, connect with your deeper purpose. For me, This was a spiritual alignment, a recognition that my work was part of a larger plan. Whatever your belief system, grounding your mornings in purpose fortifies you against distractions and temptations. I have witnessed many talented individuals falter not for lack of skill, but for lack of discipline. They delayed their mornings, delayed their decisions, delayed their dreams. Meanwhile, the early risers, those who understood the value of owning their mornings, moved steadily forward, unstoppable in their ascent. Ask yourself, what would you do if you had 2 extra hours each day, hours no one else has? How much could you learn, create, or build? The answer is simple. You would become extraordinary. But this transformation is not easy. It demands sacrifice. It demands saying no to the comforts of late nights and the false rest of sleeping in. It demands a shift in identity, from passive to proactive, from follower to leader. When you make this shift, you will find that the world responds differently to you. Your confidence will grow, your decisions will become clearer, and your presence will command respect. People sense the power of a man who owns his mornings because it reveals a man who owns his life. I urge you to begin today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Prepare tonight for your morning victory. Set your alarm, lay out your clothes, write down your intentions. Remove every excuse. Remember, excuses are the enemy of progress. Your journey will have moments of struggle. There will be mornings when you doubt yourself, when the warmth of the bed feels like the only comfort, when the voice inside says, rest a little longer. In those moments, remind yourself of why you began. Remind yourself that the world's greatest fortunes and most enduring legacies were built by those who persevered in the quiet hours. The early morning is a battlefield where your greatest opponent is your own resistance. Fight it fiercely. Win this battle daily, and you will win the war of your life. And if you wonder about the results, consider this. The early risers are the makers of history, the shapers of markets, the builders of empires. The rest are followers, spectators to their own lives. One final truth I want to share. Waking early is not an end in itself. It is the beginning of a mindset of control, vision, and relentless pursuit of your highest goals. Once you command your mornings, you will find that your days become richer, your opportunities clearer, and your actions more decisive. So I ask you again, with all the sincerity of a man who has lived through struggle and triumph, will you rise tomorrow? Before the sun, will you take hold of that sacred hour? Will you refuse comfort to claim your destiny? Your answer will echo in every decision you make after dawn. Remember, it's not how much time you have, but how you use the time you have that defines your future. The dawn is your early embrace it. Now, reflect and decide. Your empire awaits. There is a wisdom hidden in the early morning that few ever discover, yet it is accessible to anyone willing to rise and claim it. This wisdom is not just about productivity or hustle. It is about presence, about being fully awake before the world demands your attention. It is about establishing dominion over your time, your thoughts, and your actions. When I was a young man, I realized that time was the most precious resource I could possess. Money can be earned and lost, but time, once spent, never returns. I decided early that I would not squander my time. That decision led me to embrace the discipline of waking earlier, commitment to confront the day's challenges before they confronted me. The morning offers a unique gift. It is a blank slate, a fresh start. The noise of the world has not yet begun to cloud your mind. The distractions of social obligations, urgent calls, and endless interruptions have yet to arrive. It is in this quiet solitude that you have the opportunity to connect with your purpose and prepare your mind to execute with precision. The first hours of the day are not merely a time to get work done. They are a sacred period for setting your mental and emotional tone. How you begin your day determines how your day unfolds. If you begin in chaos, distraction, or anxiety, the day will likely mirror that disorder. But if you begin with calm, clarity, and intention, you will steer your day with greater control and confidence. Many people believe that success is born from talent or luck, but I can assure you, success is born from habit forged in the crucible of daily routine. The habit of waking early, of sitting in stillness before action, of planning your day, of sharpening your mind with knowledge, and of strengthening your body through movement. Your morning routine should be more than a checklist. It should be a ritual that honors your commitment to yourself and your future. In those moments, you do not answer emails or check social media. You focus on what truly matters. You build your mental fortress. Physical exercise is crucial. The discipline to move your body in the morning is a declaration that you control your flesh, not the other way around. A strong body supports a strong mind, and together they form the foundation of unshakable resolve. Reading or studying something meaningful before the day begins feeds your intellect and expands your perspective. When I began my mornings by reading financial reports, economic analysis, or philosophical texts, I was not simply gathering information. I was training my mind to see opportunities where others saw obstacles. Reflection is equally important. Ask yourself daily, what are my goals? What obstacles must I overcome? How will I serve my higher purpose today? This practice grounds you and provides direction. Without reflection, your actions risk becoming reactionary, scattered, and ineffective. Spiritual alignment, whether through prayer, meditation, or quiet contemplation, connects you to a force greater than yourself. It reminds you that your work is not only for personal gain, but for a greater good. It instills humility, gratitude, and purpose. I have often observed that those who rise early and prepare with such intentionality possess an aura of calm confidence. They do not flinch under pressure because they have already confronted themselves in the quiet hours. They have wrestled with doubts and fears in solitude and emerged victorious. This inner victory translates outward. Leaders who command their mornings command their teams, their industries, and their futures. They do not wait for conditions to be perfect. They create conditions through their unwavering commitment. Many ask if such discipline comes naturally. It does not. It must be built. You must fight the pull of the comfort of the bed, the allure of distraction, and the temptation to delay. You must train your will as a warrior trains his body. Start with small steps. Wake up 15 minutes earlier than usual. Use those minutes to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and set a clear intention. Gradually increase this time until the morning becomes a sanctuary for your growth. Remember, the enemy of progress is inertia. The moment you hit snooze, you surrender a battle that determines the outcome of your day. The morning is a test of your character, a test of your resolve. Pass this test consistently, and success will follow. I have found that the simple act of owning my morning prepared me for every challenge that came my way. It was not the grand gestures, but the quiet victories, waking early, focusing my mind, setting my purpose, that accumulated into a life of extraordinary achievement. You may face resistance from your body, from your mind, from those around you. They may not understand why you rise while they sleep. Do not be deterred. Greatness often walks a lonely path. I invite you to join me on this path, to wake before the dawn and seize the day with intention and discipline, to transform not just your schedule, but your identity. Because, at the end of the day, the question is not how much you have, but who you have become. Will you become the master of your mornings? Will you become the master of your life? Decide now. Rise early. Own your morning. Build your empire. The journey begins with one choice, one moment, one morning. Your destiny awaits. Now, let us delve deeper into the practical wisdom that shaped my life and can shape yours. Waking up early is not a mere habit, it is a strategic decision. A declaration of war against mediocrity and distraction. When I was building Standard Oil, the challenges were immense. Competition was fierce, resources scarce, and the stakes incredibly high. The world was changing rapidly, and only those who could anticipate, adapt, and act swiftly would survive. The morning became my battleground. In the quiet hours, I could think without interruption, make decisions without pressure, and prepare strategies with precision. The discipline to rise early gave me time to analyze markets, evaluate risks, and nurture relationships before the noise of the day threatened to cloud my judgment. This head start was a tactical advantage, a secret weapon. It allowed me to stay several moves ahead, to see opportunities others missed, and to act decisively when it mattered most. In the modern world, distractions are even more numerous. Phones buzz, emails flood, social media demands attention. The temptation to delay your morning routine is powerful. But the men who build empires, whether in the 19th century or today, understand that control over their morning equates to control over their destiny. Do not mistake waking early for rushing through tasks. It is not about haste, it is about presence and focus. When you wake early, you gift yourself the ability to engage deeply with your priorities. You start the day with intention, not reaction. One of the greatest lessons I learned was to protect this sacred time fiercely. I did not allow meetings, phone calls, or visitors to disrupt my early hours. That time was reserved for me to build my mind, body, and spirit. You must do the same. Guard your morning as you would guard your most valuable asset. Efficiency is another cornerstone of my philosophy. Waking early is the first step, but what you do with those hours matters more. Eliminate wasteful activities. Avoid multitasking. Focus on high-impact tasks that move you closer to your goals. For example, instead of aimlessly checking news or social media, read reports or books that expand your understanding. Instead of responding to every email, prioritize the few that truly require your attention. Use your morning to think strategically about your business or your life, not to put out fires. I also stress the importance of simplicity. Many believe that success requires complexity, that you must juggle countless tasks and strategies. On the contrary, I found that simplicity breeds mastery. By concentrating on mastering one sector or one skill deeply, you build a foundation of excellence that compounds over time. This principle applies to your morning routine as well. Keep it simple but sacred. Rise, reflect, plan, exercise, and prepare. Repeat daily. Over time, this consistency yields exponential results. You must also cultivate patience. Success is not instantaneous. It is the result of persistent effort over years. Waking early is an investment in your future self, a gift you give to the person you will become. Resist the temptation for quick wins or shortcuts. The true path is steady and deliberate. Another secret to owning your morning is to align it with your natural rhythms. Some men rise at dawn. Others may find their peak hours earlier or later. The key is to identify your most productive time and defend it fiercely. I also encourage you to embrace solitude. The early morning is a time when you can be alone with your thoughts, your fears, and your aspirations. Use this solitude not as loneliness, but as a source of strength and clarity. Finally, understand that your morning routine is a reflection of yours. When you invest in yourself each morning, you send a powerful message to your mind and to the world. You are worthy of greatness. You will not settle for less. In conclusion, the simple act of waking early is a profound commitment to yourself and your future. It is the foundation upon which you build the habits, the mindset, and the resilience necessary to achieve extraordinary success. Now, I challenge you to take action. Tomorrow morning, rise before the world awakens. Use that time to silence the noise, focus your mind, and prepare your spirit. Watch how your days begin to change, how your confidence grows, and how your opportunities multiply. But remember, empires are not built in a day, but in the steady accumulation of small, deliberate actions. Own your morning, and you own your destiny. Path is clear. The choice is yours. Rise, conquer, and build. Now, let us immerse ourselves in the profound, strategic wisdom behind one of the simplest, yet most powerful actions that defined my life and fortune. Waking up early. This is no trivial habit but a disciplined, decisioner declaration of intent and authority over your time, your mind, and ultimately your destiny. When I first set out to build what would become Standard Oil, the challenges were colossal. The business landscape was a wild, frontier-end and uncertain, fiercely competitive. There were no clear rules, no established maps to success. The stakes were monumental, and resources were limited. It was in the quiet solitude of early mornings that I found my advantage. The precious hours before the world stirred became the crucible in which I forged my plans, strategies, and resolve. Distractions today are more plentiful than ever. The clamor of notifications, emails, and ceaseless demands of modern life threaten to fracture our attention and scatter our energies. But those who rise before the dawn possess a rare gift: uninterrupted time to focus, to think deeply, and to plan with clarity and purpose. This is a battlefield few choose to fight, and therein lies the advantage. But understand this well. Waking early is not about rushing to complete tasks. It is about creating a mental and emotional environment where presence, focus, and intention rule. It is the difference between reacting to the day's chaos and proactively shaping it. The morning is your opportunity to start with calm and control, rather than with stress and distraction. In my career, I fiercely protected this time. It was inviolable. Meetings, phone calls, and visitors were barred from these early hours. This time was sacred, reserved for intellectual preparation, reflection, and strategic thinking. You must cultivate the same boundary around your morning. Guard it jealously, as you would your most valuable possession, for it is efficiency must accompany discipline. Waking early is but the first step. What you do in those hours defines your progress. Eliminate distractions. Resist the temptation of multitasking, which fragments your focus and diminishes effectiveness. Concentrate on high-value activities that move you decisively toward your goals. For example, rather than succumbing to the habit of consuming trivial news or endless social media, dedicate this time to learning. Read deeply in your field. Study market trends. Absorb lessons from history and philosophy that sharpen your insight. Rather than firefighting, use your mornings to anticipate challenges and design solutions. Simplicity is a principle I valued above all else. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Many believe success demands juggling countless projects or strategies. But mastery comes from focused effort, deep knowledge, and excellence in a chosen domain. This applies to your morning routine as well. Keep it streamlined but profound. Rise, reflect, plan, exercise, and align yourself with purpose. Repeat daily. Over time, these consistent actions compound, yielding extraordinary results. Patience is essential. The rewards of discipline manifest over years, not days. Waking early is an investment in your future self, a silent promise to the person you will become. Reject the false allure of instant gratification and shortcuts. True success is a slow, deliberate ascent, testament to persistence. I also encourage you to synchronize your routine with your natural rhythms. While many flourish in the early dawn, others find peak productivity at different times. The key is to identify your optimal window for focus and fiercely protect it. Know yourself deeply and structure your day accordingly. Solitude, particularly in the early hours, is a source of strength. Use this solitude to confront your fears, clarify your values, and connect with your aspirations. Solitude is not loneliness, it is communion with your highest self, the space where your purpose is refined. Moreover, your morning routine reflects your level of when you commit time to your growth each morning, you affirm your worthiness of success. You signal to your mind and the world that you will not settle for mediocrity. This inner message transforms your identity from a passive dreamer into an active creator. Consider the analogy of the sculptor. The artist does not create a masterpiece in a single stroke, but chips away stone, patiently, repeatedly, with precision. Your morning rituals are these chisel strokes, small but decisive acts that shape the statue of your life. Miss one, and the image falters. Sustain them, and greatness emerges. Discipline to rise early must be fought for. Your body will resist. Your mind will plead for comfort. Society normalizes late nights and chaotic schedules. Yet the path of the great is different. They embrace discomfort, resist convenience, and honor commitment. They rise before dawn, knowing this sacrifice births power. Start small if needed. Even 15 minutes earlier than usual is a victory. Use that time wisely. Sit in silence, breathe deeply, and set an intention. Gradually build until your mornings become a sanctuary for growth and mastery. The enemy of your progress is inertia. Every time you hit snooze, you surrender your authority. The morning is a test of character. Pass it daily, and you train your will to conquer larger battles. My own life was a testament to these principles. It was, in those early hours, when the world was quiet, that I made decisions that changed the course of industries and shaped economic history. It was not dramatic moments, but the steady application of discipline, clarity, and purpose that accumulated into monumental success. Those who embrace this ritual carry themselves differently. Their presence commands respect, their decisions carry weight, and their actions inspire confidence. They are the leaders, the innovators, the builders of legacies. Understand that this commitment to your morning routine is also a commitment to a mindset of control, vision, patience, and relentless pursuit of your highest ambitions. Once you master your mornings, you master your life. So I ask you to act. Tomorrow, wake before the sun. Use those sacred hours to silence noise, focus your mind, and prepare your spirit. Notice how your confidence strengthens, how clarity sharpens, and how opportunities expand. Empires are not built overnight, but through the steady accumulation of consistent, intentional actions. Own your mornings, and you will own your destiny. The path is before you. The choice is yours. Rise, conquer, build. Let me tell you something. Few understand, but all who achieve greatness live by. Discipline in the morning is the foundation of discipline in life. When you conquer those first hours, you are no longer a servant to impulses, distractions, or chaos. Instead, you become the architect of your day, your week, and your future. The morning is a proving ground where your character is tested and your future forged. Each day you rise early, you demonstrate to yourself that your will is stronger than your weakness. That small victory compounds, strengthening your resolve, building your identity as a person who keeps promises to others and, most importantly, to yourself. I once heard that the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. How true that rings. Preparation does not happen by accident or in moments of crisis. It happens in the quiet discipline of daily routine. The mornings I seized were not glamorous, but they were the source of the clarity and foresight I needed to build an empire. Imagine starting every day knowing exactly what you will do, why you will do it, and how it moves you closer to your vision. This is the power of a structured morning. It transforms you from a reactive participant into a proactive leader. When others are still waking, you have already steeled your mind, aligned your purpose, and planned your attack. The world will always tempt you with excuses. You will hear whispers in your mind, sleep a little longer, you deserve rest, or just one more minute. But those whispers are lies designed to keep you small. They are the voice of comfort trying to chain you to mediocrity. You must recognize them, face them, and act despite them. To build wealth and legacy requires this same battle, resisting the urge to settle for easy pleasures and instant gratification. It requires enduring the discomfort of delayed rewards, the patience to grow steadily rather than sprint and burn out. Your mornings are the daily training grounds for this endurance. In my youth, I learned that time is the great equalizer. You cannot buy more of it, nor recover it once lost. So, I chose to guard mine fiercely. I understood that the man who controls his time controls his destiny. This was not an abstract idea, was a practical strategy that gave me a measurable edge over competitors. Waking early is a form of time arbitrage. You take hours from when others are resting and invest them in your growth. You build skills, deepen your understanding, and prepare mentally and physically to act when the world demands it. This advantage is not fleeting, it accumulates. Each morning you own is a deposit in the bank of your future success. But there is more to it than just time. The psychological impact of owning your morning is profound. When you wake early with purpose, you send a powerful message to your subconscious. You are a person who honors commitments, who embraces discipline, who values excellence. Your mind begins to align with this identity, and your actions follow. This alignment transforms how you face challenges. Instead of being overwhelmed, you approach obstacles with calm confidence. Instead of procrastinating, you move decisively. Instead of reacting emotionally, you respond strategically. This is the mental edge that separates the winners from the rest. I also emphasize the importance of routine. Humans are creatures of habit. Your habits define your life. Establish a morning routine that supports your highest self and execute it daily without fail. The repetition builds muscle memory for discipline and focus. So even when motivation wanes, your routine carries you forward. In your routine, include practices that nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Start with quiet reflection or meditation to center your thoughts. Follow with reading or study to expand your knowledge and sharpen your thinking. Engage in physical exercise to build energy and resilience. Finally, set clear goals and intentions for the day. This balanced approach prepares you holistically. Your mind is clear, your body energized, your spirit aligned, and your purpose focused. With this preparation, you can face the day's challenges without faltering, turning difficulties into opportunities. Remember, discipline is not a punishment, it is a gift. It frees you from the tyranny of impulsiveness and distraction. It empowers you to act in service of your goals, not against them. Embrace this gift every morning, and it will repay you with a lifetime of strength and achievement. Now, I want to speak candidly about patience. Society often glorifies instant success, the overnight sensation. But wealth and legacy are never forged overnight. They are the fruits of patient, persistent effort. Your mornings are the daily sacrifices that feed this patient climb. There will be times when progress seems slow, when results are not immediate. In those moments, lean into your morning discipline. Let it remind you that every small step counts, every effort compounds. Trust in the process, and do not be swayed by impatience or doubt. As you cultivate this mindset, surround yourself with people who support your journey, mentors, peers, family. But remember, your mornings are your sacred domain. Protect them from distractions, including well-meaning but unaligned influences. Your commitment must come first. Finally, understand that waking early is a spiritual act of self-respect and purpose. Whether you view it through faith, philosophy, or personal meaning, it is a declaration that your life has value and direction. It is a commitment to walk a path of excellence and impact. I invite you now to take up this mantle, to rise before the sun and claim your power, to build a morning routine that prepares you for greatness, to face resistance with unwavering will, to cultivate patience and perseverance. Know this: every morning you conquer brings you closer to the life you envision. Your empire is built, not on grand gestures, but on the steady accumulation of daily victories. Rise early. Own your morning. Own your life. The future belongs to the disciplined. The world respects those who master themselves first. Be one of those men. Your journey begins now.